We have here today on the Moms Without Capes podcast, Patricia Lohan. Welcome to the show, Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm delighted to be here.
So, Patricia, renowned as the Mary Poppins of prosperity, is an expert in Feng Shui, alchemy, and holistic healing. With 15 years of entrepreneurial experience, she guides entrepreneurs to harness the power of Feng Shui for lasting prosperity. Featured in the New York Times, CNN, and Forbes, her transformative work has made her a globally recognized figure. On today's show, Patricia will be sharing with us how to improve the overall atmosphere of our home through Feng Shui. So before we get into that, can you share with us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to be where you are today?
Sure. So thank you for that introduction. I'm grateful to have this opportunity to share. And you'll hear by my accent, I'm from the west coast of Ireland. It's not exactly the, connect the dots between our west of Ireland and Feng Shui, but I got into it when I was there. I have been into it since I was 15. My family and I moved house when I was about 14. They upgraded to a beautiful new home in the best area, renovated this beautiful house, and we all moved in. And within a few weeks and months, things started to go really astray in a very negative way. Not financially, but mostly health. There was a lot of legal issues. There was a lot of drama. It felt like some kind of curse had been put on our family. So the only thing that had really changed in our lives is that we'd moved house. From about that time, for some reason, I heard about Feng Shui. I got books about it. I asked for books about it as a gift, and I was reading it up, and I really got hooked. I was like, there's something off with this house. I just knew, it was. So from then on, I got my parents to hire a Feng Shui expert to come and Feng Shui their home. I then, always had it in the back of my mind myself when I was like moving and in my late 20s, I did Feng Shui after kind of quitting my job and moving to India. I came back as a yoga teacher and had really started a whole new career in holistic practices. And I was working with neurodivergent children. I was working with adults to help them calm their systems, calm their energy using sound and other holistic practices. And I absolutely loved it. I wanted to call in love, so I feng shuied my apartment for love. And I met my now husband. When I met him, he had also feng shuied his place. So we were very much, destined to be together. And when we moved in together, we feng shuied the house. I said, I want to do this, but I want to do it even deeper. I really want this professionally done. So rather than hiring a professional, myself and my husband trained. And when the student's ready, the teacher appears. Both of us went and trained together. And it just started to unfold. I started working with my own clients, started coming in, and I had all this new information that I was tapping into, asking them about their environment. What's going on at home? Have you changed this? Have you thought about this? And all of a sudden I ended up basically them saying, just come to my house. And, those children that I was working with, those adults that had pretty hectic lives and they were pretty stuck in different ways, I would walk into their house and see exactly what was going on and I'd feel the energies and be like, okay, the reason that this is happening, the reason that you're not getting the success, the reason that things are not flowing is because of this. And it was not necessarily easier, but it just led to kind of growing and outgrowing my old practice, where I really love the idea of helping a whole family for a long-term readjustment of energy and realignment, as opposed to like a one-off session where I can help for a shorter term. So since we've been practicing and working with our clients, we've just seen amazing success. It's amazing.
I'm curious how you did it through COVID. Because are you used to
Oh,
going into people's houses and helping them? Like,
oh,
how'd you adjust?
so actually we had adjusted way before that. In
Okay.
2015, my husband and I decided to move, like go on our honeymoon, and we never stopped traveling. So when we got to Bali, I decided to move our practice virtual. And we now have, and we have been 100% virtual, because we don't actually need to
Oh,
see your house to feel the energy, which feels sometimes a little bit strange for people. But all of the analysis is done based on lots of information that we need from our clients in terms of the house, the
Mm.
year the house is built, the size and shape of it, the situation on the planet. And, technology is amazing now. So we can
Oh,
do all of our analysis by distance, which means that we're able to help more people. So we have clients from Nebraska to New Zealand to Nicaragua to Norway and Iceland.
nice, nice. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's interesting. I pictured you going in and like feeling the energy and like moving, like you need to move this to this.
Yeah, and actually,
Okay.
like it's not like you go in and go and feeling it.
Right.
Maybe the original people, like the original like alchemists and diviners were doing that, but
Mhm.
they came up with a very, very detailed set of calculations that we run to be able to analyze what the energy is running in the house, and then we can see how to rebalance it. But it's not based on the the feel of it.
Right.
But most
Right.
people, and actually, people would ask me, well, how do you know if your house is good or bad feng shui? It's what's going on in your life. How's your health? How's your relationships? How are you getting on with your kids? How's your kids getting on in school? How are they
Yeah.
sleeping? It's just a total mirror.
So I should have warned you before I hit record, but I actually did your quiz. And
Oh,
so
amazing.
I would like to let's get through a little bit more questions and then I'd like to pull it up and have you kind of walk through. I see I'm like very lacking in the money part. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
so it might be a little embarrassing, but I'm like, I want to hear like your interpretation. Like I just read through it
100%.
briefly last night. So
Yeah.
let's go. What is Feng Shui? Like I said,
So
like you're
I
saying it's not the
Yeah, it's not. So it's like acupuncture for your home. So essentially, every part of your body has a specific function. Every part of your home has a specific function, and it's either working on like optimum or like par zero.
yeah, yeah,
And what we want is every part of your home, just like every organ, working as best as it possibly can, to bring harmony into your body and into your home. So every part represents a different part of your life. So there's a health area, a career area, which we're going to talk about in your quiz. And essentially they can be out of balance. And if they're out of balance, it then means that, your bank account is really low, or yourself and your partner are getting on, or your kids are fighting all the time, or they're not doing great at school. So when we start to rebalance your home using the 5 elements, so it's based on traditional Chinese medicine and the 5 element practice, we start to integrate the correct remedies, the correct elements into specific areas, it brings the house into flow. So it taps your house into that universal flow. So when you think about, I don't know, you talked about being in Montana. So Montana, it's like all nature, and that's my vision of it. It's all
yeah,
nature, it's all beautiful, and just being outside in nature, maybe amongst the trees and the rivers, is probably absolutely amazing, and you feel so good. Essentially, that's the kind of energy that we want, and what we are doing in a house. We're feng shuiing is to bring that harmonious essence of energy of nature into the house. And when everybody is living in a house that is, harmonious,
yeah,
life is more harmonious and easier and more flowing.
yeah. You spoke of the 5 elements. Can
Yeah.
you just kind of share with us what they are?
Yeah, sure. So the 5 elements are fire, water, metal, earth, and wood. And when we work with clients, we tell them like specifically where to put each element. But when you're like in general looking at the elements, it's not about it's like don't have loads and loads of plants, and also don't have loads and loads of red. So some of these elements in certain areas can be really amazing enhancements, and others could be really detrimental. So, for example, for kids and for families, fire element in a children's bedroom is not ideal. Like, which I mean, when I don't mean like an actual fire, but like red, bright
Okay.
pink, orange, painting the walls all red, or having a race car bed,
Oh,
a racing
yeah.
car red bed, that fire element is hot, it burns, it can be lead to aggression, to anger, to frustration. It's that fiery energy. So excess of that in certain areas can really be impacting the energy of the people in the house.
Yeah. So do you work with like color therapy as well? Like using different colors to be able to
Not
represent
yeah,
those different elements?
we do bring the color in, but we kind of usually bring it in as a physical form. So like wood
Okay.
element, we would bring plants in, and there's a little bit of like that color therapy, but it's bespoke to the house and to the person. Yeah.
Yeah. So two different, like based on like, because you said about me living in Montana and bringing in that nature piece, like somebody who is living in like say Alaska or Iceland would have different like their feng shui, is it feng shui? How would you
Yeah.
how would you just turn that into an adjective? But like their house that would be under feng shui, like would that look completely different?
So the elements are the same. Doesn't
Okay.
matter where they are in the
Oh, okay.
world. The elements are the same. But if the house is in, Alaska or in Iceland, it's going to be located a different place. It's going to have a different compass reading. It's going to have a different shape, a different
Okay.
size. And they're actually the things that all compute to us doing the analysis of someone's home.
Yeah. So what have you noticed like with the clients that you've worked with that have improved their houses? Um, what are some of the improvements that you've noticed like with relationships and with you said about the
Yeah.
money and the career? Like,
Yeah, so the joy of this journey is just seeing the amazing transformations in our communities' success. So we often see a lot of success for the people in the house just getting unexpected windfalls because there's often like blockages in the energy of the house in terms of flow of abundance. So we see them getting unexpected windfalls or new jobs, partners getting pay rises, or just these that's which is super fun. We've also seen a lot of more better communication, more harmony between the kids. So this means that everybody is a little bit happier when the children are sleeping better and everyone's getting on a bit better, which is great. And then in terms of relationship, like I've had many clients come back and be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe the changes in my relationship. We're way more connected. We're like teenagers again." So when the idea is when you start changing your space, you're really changing your life. Like you're creating a physical change in your physical environment that's going to inherently change your energy. And it's about creating a home that is aligned with your vision. Because
right.
oftentimes homes are, we set it up. And I was just talking to a client a couple of days ago, and she was like, I'm feeling good. She's a really optimistic, happy woman. And we were chatting, and she's like, "Yeah, I just decorated this whole place like 20 years ago." And I was like, she's like, "I feel like it needs a refresh." And I was like, "Of course, like everything is this." I said, "The
Hey,
same
you've
pictures on the
changed.
wall for the
Yeah.
last 20 years, it's like it needs a shift." And it was so interesting as we went through her home because the one or two things that kind of jumped out were these brand new pieces of art that she had gotten. I was like that is so different to everything else. And she's like, "I know, I just got it." And I was like, "Look how different." So you can, a lot of times like the house gets kind of set. It's like a set and forget. But
Mm.
actually life isn't like that. And your house shouldn't be like that either. And it's not about getting rid of everything, but it's about, is this serving me and aligning with where I want to go?
Right. Right. I'm just thinking of my own house.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
one of my goals for 2023 was to get more style, like just in
Yeah.
my wardrobe and in my house and like make it more of like a reflection of me because we bought the house in 2020 and it kind of is just like trying to like we got it from my in-laws. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's less stuff and we're trying to clean out and like do all the things and like it's very plain and I'm like I want to make it work for our family
Yeah.
and just trying to figure out where that goes. But what you had just said about like the environment and you feel better and the mood and all of that, um that's a lot of things with my clients because I'm in the mental health field
Yeah.
and I'll be working with clients and a lot of like with the anxiety and depression and they start like I do a decluttering boot camp in the summer like because I feel that a lot of times our environment is a reflection of all of the things in our minds and either it's
100%.
very chaotic or a lot of women that's who I work with overcompensate where they're like that perfectionism. They feel like that they have to have everything in order
Mm-hmm.
to create like some clarity in their mind.
For
Like
sure. Yeah, for
definitely is
sure.
a reflection of all of the
Oh,
things that happen within us.
exactly. And the thing is, especially in this time and where this is so much on these like Instagrammable homes and Pinterest boards of these perfect homes. And that is not what feng shui is about. Like, it's nice to have like a beautiful home, but that's not the end goal. The end goal
Right.
is having a happy home where you come home and you've created a sanctuary for yourself and for your family, and everyone feels good, everyone sleeps well, there's enough and more than enough money, and you're able to do the things that you want to do, and you feel like it's that good feeling. It's about creating a happy, healthy home. And
Yeah.
that is not, and that kind of just like dropping the idea of perfection linked to feng shui, and drop, for me, I have, plenty of moms in our community, and the idea of clutter has been completely reframed for them, because they often, would come in and be like, oh, like, do I have to, my house is messy, like, I
Right.
can't feng shui that. I'm like, it's not, like, life mess is different to clutter for
Right.
me. The dishes in the dishwasher and on the counter, that's called life. The kids'
Yeah.
playroom with the toys, called life. Like, if they're playing with it and it's moving, it's fine.
Mm,
If it's the cupboard that hasn't been touched for 6 months or a year or 10 years,
right.
that's stagnancy. That's stagnancy, and that's not changing. And then there's a part of you that's stagnant and not changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you mind if I pull up my
Yeah,
results?
go for it. Go
Okay.
for it.
Okay. So I only scored a 68. What is that? A C?
That's good. Like, I think that the first thing is not to get like head up with the actual overall score. Like, what this is just like, okay, it's amazing. There's loads of room for improvement. So you're like, if this is where I'm at now, I've like all this potential by using feng shui to support me, because it's like my current house has me at this space. So I have like room to expand and room to improve, which is great.
So let me know if you want me to scroll down.
Okay, yes. So basically,
Okay.
when we do this quiz, what I've done is we've gone through the 9 areas of the home, and I asked like a few questions that could give me an indication of whether it's like good or bad. This isn't a like specific, like, oh my God, this is set in stone. So could not, it's just more a general indicator and kind of state of union. And it'll show where some areas are often, it could be a little bit of out of balance and out of whack, and then it's kind of impacting on everything else. So, for example, you've got some really high scores on health, on love and marriage, on relationship. So, and then even, yeah, I'm pretty good on, let me see the other one, on spirituality and personal development. So, they're kind of like your high scores, which means that, for me, I'd be reading this and I'm like, okay, well, every house has different house types. So, there's 4 different house types. Is good for people, good for money, bad for people, bad for money, bad for are good for money, bad for people, and bad for money, good for people. So they're like all the different iterations of that. And essentially, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing like there's good relationships, there's good health, there's pretty good personal development. Like, people things are really good, but your money is the lowest. So
Mhm.
for me, that would be like, oh, well, okay, well, maybe your house type is not good for money, and it could be a good for bad for it could be good for people but not necessarily money. So
Hmm.
that could be one of the like flags here for me. The other iteration is that, maybe your house has, so every part of your home represents a different area of your life. I don't know your floor plan or the shape of your house, but it could be that your money area isn't there. It could be that the energy of the money area is actually really low. Whereas, and maybe also, so the travel and helpful people, that energy is not happy. So, when I was saying like you have some areas that the energy is like really good. So for you, it's like your health area, which is really nice to know that you have great health. And that's, what a lot of people are striving for. When we moved into that house and had great money, there was loads of money in it when I was 15, but the health was like down at the middle at zero.
Mm.
So a lot of people are striving for that. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like thinking, okay, family and community is kind of lower. So it could be that the area is missing. It could be that the area is out of balance. And it could be the kind of a blend of all of those things. It could be the house type as well. So I don't know specifically what that is in terms of your house, but it does give you some of a shape of like, there's a lot of potential for you in terms of embracing feng shui to see a really big
Mhm.
shift in your finances. Like, if for me, I'd be like, wow, you've got like so much potential in your finances. And then it would be interesting. You kind of got clearer on like what I like to say to people is also to think like, of this like a wheel, so if you were to kind of like cycle this wheel that you've shaped out, it wouldn't go very far, but it's not going to take much for you to improve it out. It's just it's mostly just the money area.
Yeah, it's interesting. I started working with a nutritionist
Mm-hmm.
over the past few months, and she actually gave me something similar to this. It was our
Mm-hmm.
first session, and she had me print it out, and it had the different areas, and she had me just put a dot, very similar to the dots that you put here,
Yeah.
like how I feel I'm doing in each of the areas. And
Yeah.
she had me she encouraged me to continue to assess, as I worked on improving my health and my nutrition and all of that, how I'm doing in these different areas. And I was like, I forget what she called it, but I was like, I need to start doing this with my counseling clients because I felt
Mm.
like it gave a pretty good overall picture of where the improvements can be made. Because,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have, I have women that come like, everything's great. Everything's great. And I'm like, well, then why are you here?
Yeah,
There's got to be something
exactly.
that we can work on.
Exactly. And like the nice thing here for you is that like when you this quiz is available on my website for people
Yes.
to be able to come and do the quiz and see. And we have got we've also got like a PDF that will come with this that will give you some suggestions for each of these 9 areas for something to do that you can help to improve the area. Now, the what I would say to people who are watching this or to listening is that everyone's going to have their own unique like form of this because every house is totally unique. It also gives you an indicator of like how feng shui is a very holistic practice because it's like every single area of your life is impacted. So it's nice to know and be like, wow, like if I embrace feng shui on a deeper level, I can literally impact every part of my life. And what I love seeing is like the difference between my clients who have like we've had our clients do this quiz and they're like up at like 98%. And I know that they were like way lower than you in many areas when they started. So it's like this amazing progress that like they can see massive jumps in and changes in every area of their life. So yeah, it does give you a good overview. And the quiz is available on my website for anyone who wants to do the quiz and see where they're at different areas. And yeah, it's a fun way to kind of get started with feng shui.
Yeah, I know. Just looking at my quiz, I'm like, I need to download your free lead magnet, the
Yeah.
Feng Shui your wallets. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I already have a resource for that. So yeah, so
Exactly. Yeah. And when you do the quiz, you'll get a resource of like there's 40 pages of like a different
oh
page with
wow,
actions for each one of the results.
nice, nice. So Patricia, can you give us some just easy ways, like if we haven't even thought about this, what are some easy
Yeah, for
ways that we can
sure.
Feng Shui our house?
So the first thing I would say to you is, we talked about decluttering, but it's like go to those places that stuff hasn't been moved for a while. Like don't try a difficult thing like your clothes, that if you're very attached to your clothes, like try somewhere easy, but that hasn't been moved for a while. So maybe it's like a filing cabinet or a bookcase that you're just like, okay, I want to make space for new things in my life. And I'm going to let go of those, let go of some pieces and just bring some energy moving. The next thing is to move or remove 27 things. So, as I said, this is about chi, it's about movement, it's about flow. So, go around and just try and just move or remove 27 things. It gives you a number. If you get to 27 and you feel like you want to keep going, keep going. It's just a fun
Why
thing to kind of.
27?
So,
Why
2 and 7 equal 9. And then you have 3 by 3 equals 9, which is like the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. And then also you
okay,
have it's auspicious numerology number, and 9 is the kind of manifesting number in feng shui.
okay,
So
okay.
so it's a fun thing to do. And it kind of does, it's like if you're like, oh my God, I don't need to clutter everything, just be like, I'll just do 27 things.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you
it's
may keep
manageable.
going. Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing I like to say to people is fresh eyes. So if you just start at your front door and, just clean your front door, make it really welcoming. Just think about how do your spirits rise or fall when you get to your home? Like, did you have a lovely welcome mat? Does the doorbell work? How do you feel when you open the door? Like, is it like loads of stuff there, like overwhelming you? So the minute you get in, you're like stressed out, or is it, can you create a place of harmony and zen? And then as you move around your house with these, like as a new person in your home, try and, look at it and be like, does this represent where I want to go in my life? Like, does this
Yeah.
artwork represent where I want to go in my life? Does this, I don't know, the ornaments, does it represent where I'm going? Like, are the books on my shelves relevant to where I am right now and where I want to go? Because it's that idea of like things kind of just get left and not thought about. So it's becoming more mindful of like what's in your environment, and then, make space for new things, but also just become more mindful of what what you're bringing in. There's a lot of craziness going on in the world outside of us. And, we could look after, there's only a certain things that we have like really span of control on. And that's like our own mindset, our energy. You've already seen amazing results by tending to your health. So imagine what's like when you, same as what you tend to your home, like within
Yeah.
your four walls, you can have a space that's going to support you to flourish and shine. So start to really connect with the energy of it and tend to it, like look after it, and it will look after you.
Yeah. So do you have any final tip or advice?
Yeah, for sure. So I would say to people, just take a moment, close your eyes, bring your hand onto your heart, and just thank your home for all that it has given you up until now. And then you can do something like a space clearing. You could just maybe get some sage or Palo Santo, or even an incense stick, and just with your hand on your heart, just get clear on how you want your home to support you in the future. Open the front door and just move around the space and around like clockwise around your space, and just clear it. Do a nice little space clearing and just like let go of any old energy. As you tune into your house, ask it to, make way for new things to come in and to support you with that.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. So I wish I was home. Like I'm across the country, but 2 weeks. I'm gonna write it down and be like,
Yeah, do
because I'm
it
like
and let us
in
know
your
how you get
house, so I can
on.
do this. Yeah.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
what do you do for fun?
For fun, I spent a lot of time at the beach.
Nice. A
I
little
played
jealous. A
tennis.
little jealous.
I spent a lot of time swimming in the sea. I spent a lot of time playing with my dog and a lot of time playing tennis. So I took up tennis
Sounds
like three
amazing.
years ago, and I just love it.
Yeah. Nice. So do you have a book that you can recommend?
Well, I have a book, my own book called Happy Home, a guide to creating a happy, healthy, wealthy life. And I think it's a great starting point for people who want to, create a happy home for themselves and their families.
Nice. I could see the sun just like
I know
bathing
coming
you.
in
Like
on
it
I
looks
don't get it.
great.
It's like the sun has moved now. So it's later, obviously it's October now, and typically I'm gone out of here by now, but the weather has
Yeah.
been like amazing this
Yeah.
October.
I'm like
And
down in my mom's basement. I'm like,
oh no.
that looks so beautiful. And then finally, where can listeners find you, Patricia?
So you can find me at patricialohan.com, and there I have a resource about like feng shui in your wallet. I've got feng shui for your office. We've got like my mini course Feng Shui 101, which actually walks you through that quiz, and you get to do the quiz and get like way more insights on first steps with feng shui. So that's like the easiest way to get started with the feng shui is in my mini course Feng Shui 101.
Nice. So I've got all of Patricia's information in the show notes of today's episode. Thanks so much for coming on the show today. I learned so
Thank you.
much.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much.